think, right? Okay.
Okay, there you go.
Okay, yes. So, according to the Washington Post, the Trump-Putin summit resulted in Trump saying, okay, we don't have to have a ceasefire in order to have peace talks, which was a demand of Zelensky's. So that was the main takeaway. I was listening earlier to a conversation on Democracy Now! With John Mearsheimer, professor, and Matt Duss, former foreign policy advisor to Bernie Sanders. And Mearsheimer was basically saying he didn't see where these talks could go because Putin has been adamant that he wants a neutrality for NATO, which is something that European leaders have rejected continuously and recently as well. They do not want neutrality for Ukraine, even though that seems to be the red line, absolute red line, and has been a long time for Russia. That Mearsheimer said, Putin wants the four oblasts that Russia has seized, though that is not all of the Donbass, and that Putin wants a demilitarized Ukraine. So that's not what Zelensky is going to agree to, but I think in the end it will just come down to whether Ukraine wants to continue this, whether the U.S. and wants to continue funding it. And to my understanding, Trump has agreed to continue funding weapons transfers to Ukraine. It just seems like endless, right? So I think we just have to support peace. And if it means peace talks without a ceasefire, yeah, okay, start the peace talks.
I would say there's nothing preventing them from talking. I mean, that's the amazing thing. They should not be conditional. I mean, they should have been able to work this all out. What can I say? Oh, Dennis is with us. Okay. All right. Well, first, let's let Melissa say something, and then we're going to turn it over to Jim. He's going to introduce our guest,
I
who's
don't
dressed
see,
up.
is Dennis on here? I don't see him on.
Here
Oh,
I
there
am.
he is. Hi, Dennis. Hi. Good to see you, my friend.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Yeah, Melissa, go ahead, and then we're going to give it to Jim to introduce our guest.
For some reason, I'm not able to start my video, but I just want to say my reason for being here is because most of the people that have taken care of me in the past are affected by this Palestinian situation, and what we're doing is wrong and it needs to change.
Thank you. Thank you, Melissa. Appreciate that.
Thank you, Melissa.
So Dennis Kucinich is one of my great heroes. I wouldn't have come back to the Democratic Party had not Dennis Kucinich ran for president. So I remember reading about Dennis Kucinich when I was a child, reading the Daily News in Chicago and they're talking about this young person being mayor of Cleveland. And I thought, holy cow, this is quite amazing. And then, of course, Dennis became a congressperson, and he became a hero in my eyes because he stood for peace and was not afraid to talk about it. And then he ran for president. And what a different world we would have if Dennis was president. So, Dennis, we invite you today to talk especially about the situation in Palestine and what's going on there and Gaza. And one of the main questions that we debate in this little talking group of ours is, should we support candidates who have not agreed to stop funding Israel, who have not agreed to stop sending weapons to Israel? How should we treat such candidates? So from there, I'll let you take it. I know you only got a half hour, but this is your show, Dennis, and we're so proud to have you on.
Well, Jim, I'm proud of you and all of those who are on this call for keeping the Progressive Democrats of America active and a significant part of the future of the Democratic Party. And so to each of you on this call, thank you for your participation. Thank you for being here. And I'll have some brief remarks. I'd like this to be a discussion. There's nothing in our lifetimes that I think that we can point to that is as unsurpassingly horrific as what's going on in Gaza and the West Bank, with the help of our United States tax dollars and the support of Democrat and Republican administrations and Democrat and Republican members of the United States Congress. There is an immediate crisis that it's still not too late to do something about, and that is to stop the killing, stop the ethnic cleansing, stop the building of settlements in the West Bank. And that's going to take a lot of pressure from Congress on this administration or the next one, whether it's Democrat or Republican. But we may have something to do with that, because I happen to think that anyone who supports the sending arms to Israel, or anything that Israel uses to defend itself in its murderous rampage against the people of Gaza and the West Bank, that they should not be considered for support, and they should be actively opposed. If we don't draw a line here, then we sanction genocide. If we don't say, no, it's not right, that you cannot have our support if you have a record of funding Israel, and Israel has used that money to kill Palestinians and to engage in genocide. Anyone who has taken money from Israel, and there's a number of members of Congress who have forever tainted their position on that issue. We have to insist that the congressmen and women recognize that Israel, there's a bifurcation here. There's Israel and there's Zionism. Israel is using Zionism as a means of achieving a greater Israel at the expense of millions of people in the region. That's not okay. Israel ought to be a pariah state for that reason alone. So, I don't think you can take a strong enough position on this, frankly. I don't think that you can engage in a meaningful discussion with anyone who calls themselves a Democrat. If they say, well, Israel, we got to support them, we got to defend Israel. This is no longer about defense. Israel's been on the offense, and it's been on a murderous rampage. That is one issue, but it's, in a sense, it's a part of a galaxy of issues that is about militarism. Our society has been destroyed in our lifetimes because of the United States and increasing commitment to militarism. $1 trillion a year now going for the military. It's insane, and that's part of the problem too. People who are voting for these defense appropriations, it's not right. This isn't about America. It's about interest groups who make money in killing people. And if there's no other way to be but blunt about this, and either we become a force for peace by addressing the actual barriers to peace that exist, or there's no relevancy here. And so, PDA has always been held the possibility of helping the Democratic Party take a new direction. But the only way I believe that you're going to be able to do this in 2026 and 2028 is to basically say, our direction is peace. We're not buying into genocide or any version of it, or death on the installment plan, or whatever you want to call it. We are insisting that those who we support stand for peace, not in the generic sense, but here's specifically what we want you to do. And, if they do that, fine. And if they don't, that's their problem. And there ought to be primary challenges up and down the line. And it's not like, well, you've been so good for so many years. No, if you support genocide, that's a disqualifier. If you support sending arms to Israel, that's a disqualifier. If you support consistently voting for for military appropriation, that's a disqualifier. You know, we have moved towards a precipice here. And the only way back is to actually take a stand for peace. And this isn't some airy-fairy notion. It's directly connected to America's ability to be able to assure that each American can have a decent education, can have an opportunity for a roof over their head, can have safe and clean neighborhoods, can have a decent job at a fair wage, can have retirement security, and on and on and on. We get deprived of all that because our country spends $1 trillion a year for war. And that's got to end. We have to force America to take a different direction. So there you have it. That's what I think. I'd be happy to hear what you think.
I doubt there's going to be anyone to disagree with you at all. Marcy, go right ahead.
Well, let me just ask one specific question. There's a bill out there, the Block the Bombs Act. And if you're running for Congress and you don't address that in your on your website and you do not say, I support Block the Bombs Act, should that be if you cannot say that, should that be a disqualifier?
Well, let me ask you, you're more familiar with that than I am. Are you talking about ending nuclear weapons? Is that what you're saying?
No. This is an act specifically geared towards what type of munitions we send to Israel. There's about 30 people now sponsoring it. I put in the chat the link, blockthebombs.org, if you want to take a look at it. And it lists the munitions that we send to Israel that Israel uses in their genocide. And it specifically says we're going to block sending those weapons to Israel.
Well, here's the thing. There's a couple different classifications here. If people have a record of supporting Israel and they sign on to that, I don't know. I mean, yeah, can people be converted? Sure, and we have to count on people changing their minds. But that's something, as you describe it, it sounds, of course, it's right. It's a way of saying no to what Israel's doing, and it's an opener, absolutely. So should people? You want people to support that? Absolutely. That's a good measuring stick. But go back in the record. See if someone has a record of supporting Israel, then you have to see if there's to what degree they're willing to take a new direction. And signing on to a bill, that's interesting. But, we're in an era where when it comes to Israel, Democrats talk out of both sides of their mouth. And just being on a bill, that can give them an opening for consideration, but they got to do more than put their name on a bill. Otherwise, I'm all for that. And then, another vote comes up and they get reelected and then they keep doing what they're doing. Got to be careful with that. Can't be naive about these members. I mean, we have somebody who's running for Senate again in Ohio, and he's voted with Israel all the way down the line. And he's tried to play both sides. I'm just telling you, I've had it with Democrats who are for war. And if they're saying they'll do this, but they're still going to vote for the military spending, I like the idea, though. I like that you're going out and putting a marker out there and engaging people. Use that as a means of engaging people in a deeper discussion about Zionism, about how about America's relationship with Israel. I mean, from my point of view, we're done. We're done. That's it. You committed genocide with our money. That's an unpardonable sin. You're done. We're not, we break relations with Israel. That's what I would favor. There should be no relationship with Israel. And, because, and so the bill is an opening for discussion, but it can't be the thing that qualifies someone against a lifetime of support for arming a country that is involved in genocide. So go ahead. Next question.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yes.
Marcy.
So thank you, Jim. Dennis, welcome. It's so wonderful to see you. Always great to hear you. You are an inspiration to all of us. So I have a few thoughts. One on Block the Bombs Act, which would restrict weapons and prohibit the sending of bunker buster bombs, would require Congress to approve all future transfers of weapons to Israel. My own Congress member, who I hope will be primaried, Salud Carbajal, member of the House Armed Services Committee, votes for every Israel lobby bill, and his office said, well, he won't support this bill because we might need to hurry and send more weapons to Israel if there's another emergency.
Jesus. Excuse me.
So we're working on trying to get a primary challenger for that. Now,
don't work on it. Get one.
Yeah. Okay. Now, a couple of questions. Oh, okay. So one question. I see Congress as having to pay a protection racket, basically the Israel lobby, the Anti-Defamation League, Jewish Federation, all those people, all those groups, so that they won't come after AIPAC, so they won't come after these individual members should they not vote for arms for Israel. And so I guess the question I have to you is, nothing else seems to be effective in stopping this genocide. Your thoughts on that?
Well, first of all, with respect to Congress, I think that PDA, as part of the pledge, you'd have to write up the resolution, but as part of the pledge should be that that there be not accepting any money from anybody connected with any Israeli interests. No question that AIPAC has been mightily influential and, in a sense, rules in the House of Representatives and in the Senate. Last year, when Netanyahu spoke to the Congress, he had something like 52 standing ovations. They weren't only applauding him. They were applauding all of the groups who have been instrumental in fundraising for those members. And I think that Israel and support for Israel has to be one of those defining issues in primaries, and these members have to be directly confronted. Now, they're going to get money from the interest groups during that time, but they have to be confronted. Is there anything like that right now? Not to my knowledge. But this is where PDA can make it an issue. And I think it's, we're past this discussion of anti-Semitism being used as a device to create a smokescreen for genocide. None of us are accepting that anymore. But again, you go back to the individual members, and I don't care who runs in a primary, just to force the issue, whether you can win or not doesn't matter. Force the issue with these incumbents, and let them know, look, you're going to have a challenge. We don't care who it is. Somebody's going to challenge you, and that's going to be the issue. That's the way you start to pare away these groups from the control that they have, which is extraordinary. I mean, Congress ends up, it really is a scandal. I mean, the truth is that AIPAC in particular ought to be declared a foreign agent and have to register under the Foreign Agents Registration Act. And should be proscribed from being able to participate in U.S. elections. You have to remember, I mean, I go back in this you can go on the web and find my discussions with Netanyahu in a congressional committee where he was coming to Congress to ask us to attack Iraq. And we have engaged in the Middle East, principally at the behest of Israel in Iraq, in Libya, in Syria, in Lebanon. It's wrong. And our attack on Iran was precisely for Israel. This has to stop. We have to draw the line. And the way to do it through PDA is to start to set some metrics and expectations on the issue. Now, repeat the second part of your question.
Okay. Yes, thank you, Dennis. The second part was there is a call, I believe, from the Hague group, some of the Global South members, to send in United Nations armed peacekeeping troops because nothing else seems to be effective in stopping this genocide, which is continuing to unfold on a massive scale. What do you think about supporting armed UN peacekeeping troops going into Gaza?
Yeah, I would support that. I think there's that the United Nations, the role of the United Nations is being destroyed with the help of the United States. Our vote in the Security Council has enabled Israel to continue its ethnic cleansing, its genocide. So, it's great to get the UN involved, and the peacekeepers would have to be armed, and their instructions would have to be if they fire upon, they fire back. And, the IDF has free reign here to just kill people, and they're doing it for sport. They're killing children for sport. This is mind-blowing. I am sure, I can just imagine the thinking that what must go through any of the people on this call, what must go through your minds during the day when you see these reports and we're all witness to the genocide. It's heartbreaking. It's riveting. We can't shut this out of our minds, nor should we, because this isn't only about what's happened. This past is prologue. They're enabling a normalization of genocide that will travel around the world. We're not guaranteed of our own safety here in this country when you look at what is being promoted in the Middle East. And so, we have as human beings, this isn't about Democrats, Republicans, whatever. As human beings, we have an obligation. And we have to also free our campuses from these restraints of free speech, where campuses have been appropriated to defend apartheid policies. Students aren't for it, but they're faced with suspension or expulsion if they demonstrate. I mean, this is wrong. It's a clear violation of the First Amendment. And it was the students who helped to end the war in Vietnam. I remember that. And we have to give these young people an opportunity to state what they think about not just what's going on, but about their own future. They understand what's going on, but they're being muzzled by a government which is in league with these genocidal maniacs. So, yes, we ought to have the UN involved in this. And I mean, my feeling is that you can't go far enough in taking a position on this in terms of admonitions and prohibitions. I mean, I'd make it an issue as to whether or not people support delivering Netanyahu to The Hague. Really, that would be my position. He goes, if we don't assert, it goes beyond law. If we don't assert the basic rights of humanity, we're lost.
Thank you.
I just want to comment one thing about Marcy said. If the Security Council doesn't act, the General Assembly can under the Uniting for Peace resolution. So they do have the power to do what Marcy suggested, to send a UN peacekeeping force. The General Assembly has a right to do that. Okay. And
well, I am for it 100%. It would, but we may have to send a peacekeeping force into the West Bank as well to stop these settlers. I don't even why do we call them settlers? That's a way of diminishing what they're doing. They are pioneers. I mean, the pioneers were a problem too, but the settlers are stealing people's land. They're stealing people's property. They're murdering people. So maybe, Jim and Marcy, maybe we ask for the UN to go into the settlements too. They may consider that more dangerous in some ways, but that needs to happen in order to secure the rights of the Palestinians to stop the extirpation of people from their homes, which is accelerating right now. And the people doing it, a number of them are from the United States who made Aliyah. Okay, well, I'm sorry, it's madness otherwise. So next question. I'm going to stay with you a little longer. Go ahead. Next question.
Mike, you're muted.
Is that me?
Yeah, Beth, go right ahead.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I had muted
Is that me?
Yes.
Okay. So it's a breath of fresh air listening to you, Dennis Kucinich. I wish we had a Democratic Party that stood up for the values that you're talking about. One of my big concerns, and has been a long time, is that we don't run enough people that are going to counter all the crap that we hear from the corporate Democrats. And to me, you spoke about it so well. The key is primarying everywhere we can, running as much as we can, just like Mamdani did in New York. And he spoke out on the Palestinian issue, and a lot of Jewish Americans in New York voted for him. I'm a Jewish American, and I hate what Israel is doing, and I speak out about it all the time. And when I write to my senators and representatives, I let them know I'm a Jewish American, so they know that not all Jews agree with the crap going on out of this non-Jewish state, as I like to call it, Israel. I don't even think it should exist, but that's another issue. And I think we should be talking to any and all people, whether they agree with us or not. I think we don't talk to people who don't agree with. Like, I talk to people who are for Trump, and this one person I was talking to agreed with me that we shouldn't be sending money into Ukraine. Now, it's not Palestine. I didn't get to talk to that person on Palestine, but they agree with. I think if someone agrees with this, we should be including them in the people we talk to.
You know what? I just want to interject. You're 100% right. And you take, for example, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's a congresswoman from Georgia. She's been taking a very strong stand against war. And that's a signal of what's going on with Trump's political base. People, Trump promised end the wars. People don't want war. And they don't want what's going on in Gaza. Now, I want to make a point about this and make a suggestion about the approach that can be taken. There are so many Americans right now who are very hard-pressed economically, absolutely struggling to make ends meet, put food on the table, keep a roof over their heads. Rent is going up because you have hedge funds who are investing in homes. They've been sending out circulars, and more people are cashing out their homes. Their rent keeps going up, having trouble making it. More and more people are having trouble making their mortgage payments. Prices are going up. And by and large, what I see is Americans are riveted individually to their economic experience. It's not they don't care about what's happening in other countries, but they do care if our tax dollars are being used for a purpose that doesn't have anything to do with the interests of America. And so what I would humbly suggest is that we always keep the linkage between the economics. We have concerns here at home, and we're sending our money overseas to kill people. Wait a minute, no. And the settlements, there's an issue because we're in a sense clearing land so people can have a place to live, and they get benefits in Israel that maybe Americans don't have. We have to focus laser-like on the economics, but link the economics to genocide, link the economics to a military budget that has spiraled out of control, and whose very existence is denying people the quality of life that they want for themselves and their families. But please remember that it's not that people don't care. They're of necessity riveted to their own daily economic existence. And it's tough for a lot of people right now. And so I think that this is Trump's vulnerability, the economics, but it's the linkage that we have to look at. Go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say in that I'm not so much interested in talking to people like Green. I'm talking about the people who are the voters, because those are the ones I think we need to talk to more. And I just want to say, back to my original issue, I think we need to be running hundreds, if not thousands, in primaries, just like what you're talking about, Dennis. I think that is so key. It seems there are some groups that are doing that, but is it enough? Are we running enough? And I agree with you. Just we need to run people so we bring up the issues and put the pressure on those in the who are already in office. So my two questions to you are: is it enough that we're running, which I don't think we are? And number two, I do have a concern of I don't want to lose so that we get more right-wing people like Green and those in office. So those are the two questions I'd like you to approach.
Well, let me tell you, if I get a right-winger who opposes war and genocide, that's my person.
Yeah, but what about their policies on
the defining issue here is war or peace. We can talk about everything else. We can work, but if the peace is the precondition for our existence, we can settle all the other details that we have. But if there are Democrats who want to fund Israel and who support military spending, and they're with us on a number of other issues, and there's a Republican who opposes what's happening in Israel, opposes military spending, and who may not be with us on the other issues, I'm going to vote for that Republican in a heartbeat. Because this isn't about being a club. This is about what are the declensions of our interest. And the highest has to be peace. Because peace is the one thing that enables everything else to be resolved. But without that, we're going to be forever circling around these issues. And, I can't go for that Republican. Baloney. I'll go with a Republican who stands for peace, 99 out of 100 times. And I think that I mentioned Marjorie Taylor Greene, not because I agree with her on everything. That's not going to happen. But she's been very courageous on challenging this. And why does she do that? Because there's a constituency out there that agrees with her that helped elect President Trump. We must not lose sight of that. Our issues that we started 20 years ago with are now acceptable to a number of Republicans. Wow. That's amazing, really. How did that happen? Well, they'll have to figure that out in 2028. But I'm just saying that if we're really for peace, we've got to look for people who will side with us, and we'll have the debate and the discussions with them on other things along the way. But let's see if we can do this one thing in our lifetimes. We can stop America from being an aggressor nation or funding aggression. We will have achieved a purpose that generations to come will bless.
I just have to push back on that a little bit, because I am very concerned with how the Republican Party is trying to destroy and maybe will destroy Social Security, Medicare. They probably have done it to Medicaid. I cannot put that aside just for peace. I'm scared if I lose my Medicaid or my Social Security, I don't know how I'm going to live. So I don't think you can separate that out.
I understand what you're saying, but let me remember a moment ago I talked about the economic linkages.
Mm.
If we're spending $1 trillion plus a year for the military, your Social Security is not going to be safe. Your Medicare or Medicaid is not going to be safe. That's the linkage. It's all one big pot of money, and the money's all fungible. And you run out. Isn't interesting? You never run out of money for the military. Never run out of money for wars. Unlimited amount of money. But Social Security, wait a minute, we may have to cut back. No. Social Security is solid for several years to come, as long as we quit, stop siphoning off money. And the other thing is, when you have an economy that depends on the production of weapons, that's a problem. But there's an economic linkage here. I'm not, I wouldn't want any to support anyone who would be opposed to Social Security. But even with the Republicans, we've got to get people to see the linkages.
Yes.
And that's where it's at. And we have to understand them. This is about an endless effort to just take our money and keep wars going. If we can stop that, if we can start to reprogram the funds. And what are the Republicans concerned? They're concerned about many are concerned about the rising budget deficit. Well, the budget deficit's going up in part because we're expanding the military budget. And the military budget, as it expands, gives them more money to have wars and gives them more money to steal, frankly. I mean, money just disappears when there's a war. First meeting I ever had in Congress, they had Inspector General of the Defense Department said there was $1 trillion. This was 97. There was $1 trillion in accounts they couldn't reconcile. Now it's many trillions. And that's because the money's just being siphoned off. I mean, this war's a racket, and we have people who are involved in promoting it who are actual crooks, and they make money off of war on the side. We've just got to challenge this frontally. And Israel gives us a chance to do it because they're carrying it to a level that is that puts horror in a different category.
I just want one last thing. I think we can't just talk about a peace candidate. We do have to do that linkage, which Dennis just talked about. Without that linkage, to me, I think it's not. I don't know the right word. It's not the way to go. But the linkage is important.
Let me add this. A peace candidate can enable us to mobilize, but the linkage enables us to win because it relates to people's practical aspirations. And that's what we've got to push in front of people. This is what you're being denied because of this direction that we're taking. Oh, let me tell you. And there is more of a readiness to listen today because and times are getting tougher for a lot of families. So thank you. Let's go to the next question.
Thank you.
Okay. Michael.
Thanks. Thanks for being with us, Dennis. So deeply appreciate it. In the wake of the 40-day fast that was concluded in late spring, I was searching for another way to help us build power together. And it occurred to me to begin a Friday fast for Gaza. And I started that myself on July 4th, and I'm just now finishing my 7th Friday fast for Gaza in a row. And I'm just putting together a flyer to put out the word for people to join in this. I'm not citing any individual as the originator of this, any individual group as the originator. I'm just putting it out to see if, in a kind of an anarchic way, people will respond to this and join together energetically to build power to do what needs to be done here. What do you think of this effort?
First of all, thank you for doing that. It's a spiritual commitment, and it does have relevance. And it expresses a solidarity with people who are starving. And I salute you for that. And I would encourage you to continue to encourage others to join. we must not forget that there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions, who are starving right now as a result of government policy, not as a result of some distortions in the marketplace, as a result of government policy. And it's hard to think about it too much because the images are so unforgettable of seeing a child starving. I remember years ago, Biafra, what was happening there, and how shocking it is. But yes, I thank you for doing that. And we're all being starved right now for justice. We're being starved for peace. And this might be the moment that PDA was created for. You know that? Think about that. This might be the moment within the 20 years of PDA's existence to be able to rise up and to declare the human necessity of our nation taking a new direction at home and in the world. And efforts like yours, as seemingly simple as it is, but as significant as it is, can really lead the way for that kind of consciousness raising to occur. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Donald.
Yes, so thank you for coming on, Mr. Kucinich. It seems to me that the horrificness of what's happening in Gaza is a condemnation of both the Democrats and Republicans in Congress, who both almost uniformly support it. Even the progressive people in the Progressive Caucus are not beyond criticism. I do want to point out that Republicans are even more pro-war, although there are a minority of MAGA people who are anti-war, and Trump sometimes says wonderful anti-war things. Usually they're very pro-war for the budget. They're very pro-Israel. They want to have war with China. And in addition to the threat from war and nuclear war in particular, the climate, and somebody mentioned this in the chat.
What is that?
The threat from the climate is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
And someone needs to mute. The threat from the climate is existential for humanity. So even if the Republicans are anti-war occasionally, what they're doing about green energy and the EPA and proposing climate change is going to risk human civilization. But anyway, I wanted to ask, I look for someone like you and to some extent Bernie Sanders for leading the progressive movement and helping to save the Democratic Party, and at the same time fight back against MAGA, because Trump's attacks on student demonstrators and his attacks on DEI and on his accusations of people for being anti-Semitic are ridiculous, and it's obvious to everyone now. So this is a chance for the Democrats to destroy Trump and to take down the mainstream Democrats. But we need leadership, and maybe you're not the right person to do it, but I don't see you on Fox News anymore. So I wanted to comment on how we can get leadership in the Democratic Party. Mandami might be the person. Bernie and AOC are part of it. Tom Hartman says some good things, but he's not very good about war. So I wanted to hear your comments on all this, and thank you for listening to me.
Yeah. First of all, Donald, is it?
Yes.
Yeah. You and everyone else on this call is a leader. And you're leading by contemplating a direction that the country and the world has to take with respect to matters of peace. And my role is to facilitate this discussion by offering the way that we can most successfully achieve that. Now, you started off by talking about the Democrats and Republicans and the similarities. You're correct. When Buckley versus Vallejo and Citizens United passed years ago, it really, took down the last wall of protection for us in campaign finance and basically helped with the homogenization of the political process so that Democrats and Republicans taking money from the same interests results in the same policies, and whatever the party is, they're still supporting the same policies. That's why the necessity of being involved in primaries right now is critical. The environment, as you spoke about, you're right. Look, war is ecocide. War is ecocide. War contributes mightily to the destruction of the planet. When you think about a single bomb, and then you think about more tonnage being dropped on little Gaza than maybe has been dropped in most of World War II, you start to understand that we've created a moral crisis attended by an environmental one as well. And of course, nuclear war, the ultimate shibboleth, is something that we must never forget to challenge. And I would respectfully suggest that at some point, nuclear abolition has to be brought forward again. So how do we proceed? We proceed by starting to restate what PDA is all about, what PDA stands for, what it will support, what it will not support. I happen to believe this might be an opportunity for a tremendous expansion of involvement in PDA based on a reformulation and a restatement of PDA's purpose. This really is an important moment. But the Democrats got that. And the Democrats are where we have to work. It's the Democrats who have kept us in this conflict in Ukraine. It's the Democrats who have supported the genocide. It's the Democrats who from the time that I left Congress, have been mired in this war consciousness, can't break out of it. So PDA has an opportunity here to make a difference, and each individual on this call is a leader. So thank you. I think I have time. Let me check here. I have time. I have 5 more minutes, so I can take another question.
Okay, Steve Walker. There he is.
I want to make 2 comments that Dennis can react to. My first comment, it's clear to me that Benjamin Netanyahu is a bigot. He thinks that Palestinians are half a human being with half a brain, and he has no problem murdering 60,000 or 80,000 because he doesn't think that he's killing human beings. What amazes me is that any black or brown person would endorse bigotry knowing it could come back and boomerang back against them. Kamala Harris is a mystery to me. Secondly, in regards to the bloated military budget, I think the Democrats decided years ago in Washington that the best candidates to run were veterans because people love veterans. And the end result is we got all these veterans elected now. I started out supporting both vets. I wouldn't give them a dime anymore. We got all these veteran Democrats that are all for a bloated military budget. That was a terrible strategy, and we're paying a price for it.
There is a single company.
Well, that started with Rahm Emanuel, by the way. In 2006, he ran veterans in Democratic primaries, and they ran as peace candidates. They won in the primaries, and then when the Democrats took back control of the House in 2006, the first thing Emanuel and other Democratic leaders said is we're going to keep funding the war in Iraq. I mean, that's the kind of games, the bait and switch games that are played within the party. And that's important to be mindful of that. As far as Netanyahu, I think, in our assessment of him, we have to be careful. Of course, there's bigotry that is undeniable in the treatment of Palestinians. There's no question about it. It goes beyond that. Netanyahu is an opportunist. He sees an opportunity to stay out of jail here because his government and his own personal relationship to the government. It's not me saying this, but the courts in Israel relates to illegal conduct. He's trying to stay out of jail, and he will do anything he can to keep changing the subject so he can stay out of jail, including licensing people like Ben-Gvir and Smotrich so that they can do what they do in order for he keeps his coalition together, not because he's a bigot, but because he's an opportunist. And his approach, however, requires an even more careful look at the psychopathology of violence here, because he has become so absorbed in perpetuating the violence in order to serve his supporters that I don't think he knows who he is anymore, and he has become a murderous tyrant, a genocidal tyrant, and for that reason, he needs to be removed from office in Israel and sent over to The Hague. But I mean, him being a racist or a bigot is just the least of his problems and our problems. I know the deeper question that you're raising, though, is how could people of color conceivably not recognize this? And that's part of our job, is to help people make the connections. I have time for one more question, and I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to say hi again.
Okay, I'll grab that last question myself then. In that vein, the letter I had written recently, I think, was included in the note we all sent out to everyone on PDA and Wars Group, was from the point of view of, say, someone who is America First. And I pointed out that, first of all, why are we not supporting the Israelis who are being beaten and arrested in the streets in Jerusalem and Tel Aviv against their own government, because they see that they've taken their eye off the ball. They're not getting their relatives back. They're prolonging the war. Why are not our Israel firsters and America firsters saying, yeah, let's side with them and not with the corrupt prime minister? And to me, it was like an easy out. Like even my own kind of spineless rep, Kevin Mullen here in California, he follows the lead. He follows the lead. He's not going to stick his neck out for anything. So that would be an easy out. You say, yeah, we're for Israelis and we're for the ending of the war because Israelis demand it. So he's hardly against Israel. So, and the fact remains that America First, the same people would be saying, why are we spending money for murdering and helping a foreign dictator, Netanyahu in a sense, murdering Palestinians? I mean, that's not America First. It's not Israel first. So that was where I left it. And I don't know if you saw that letter, but I did get it into print. And to me, it was like, even the people that say, oh, I'm for Israel, got to vote for Israel. Well, yeah, vote for the Israelis who want to end the conflict and get their people back. They may not like Palestinians terribly, but the fact remains you can't even say you're pro-Israel if you're not supporting those people. So I'll leave it at that.
Well, you raise an important distinction, and it's well to recognize there are people inside of Israel who are protesting. They're in the minority, but they're growing. And as Marcy said at the beginning of this, it's important to recognize that there are people who, Jews in America, who are adamantly opposed to what's happening here. We have to be very careful of permitting any kind of stereotyping to go on, because that's the same problem that exists in Palestine and Gaza right now. Stereotyping is being used to kill people. So we must not permit stereotyping, and we must recognize where there is opposition. And I would say that we help the cause of the people who are opposing the Netanyahu government by cutting off funds, by stopping the fueling of the war. Now, I want to again thank all of you for your commitments here, and to pledge to you that, you know, in all these years, I've never wavered on taking a stand and speaking out when it was critical to do so. I write a column on Substack that I publish every once in a while. My wife writes with me as well. And she covers the agricultural and health side, and I write about national and foreign policy, particularly focusing on of late on Gaza and where are we going with this war, and what does this mean for us today. But each one of you has made a journey to this point that I honor and thank you for. And when I think of that 2004 convention where we came together and formed PDA, I think about you. And I think about the fact that there resides across this country a beating heart for peace. And it will always keep beating as long as there's a PDA. So thanks again, and I'll look forward to speaking with you again. Thank you.
Dennis, thank you so much. You inspire us and inform us. I'm sure more people will be primarying candidates because of what you said today. I would like to invite you, hopefully, to the PDA Town Hall, which has even more people on it. I know Dan O'Neill here is on this call. He's on the leadership team for PDA. I'd love to see you be on the town hall meeting on Sunday and help change the, reconfirm our peace activism in PDA. So,
well, thank you. You know how to contact me and make the arrangements. So thanks. And thanks to Marcy and everyone else on this call. You're asking the right questions, and this is a timely moment to do it. I think PDA is ready for a big expansion. So good luck, and we'll talk again soon. Take care.
Thank you, Dennis. Love you.
Bye-bye. Love you guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you all. Bye-bye. Good afternoon.
Okay, and I guess we're about a little after 10 o'clock, so we can have any other comments. Anyone wants to join in, but I have nothing but admiration for the man. He just says it all. And even Caitlin Johnson, I don't know how many people follow her thing, but she had all these biblical quotes. That's to say, people who are saying, "Oh, yeah, the Bible tells us to get rid of Palestinians." She says, "Oh," she goes through all these quotes. It was just very clever. Sharon, go ahead. And then Dan.
I hope you can hear me. I'm actually I'm on my friend's boat. I'm actually tabling at my county fair for the Democrats, for my county Democrats today, which I will never double book again. But anyway, Dennis, he's a real inspiration, and I agree with him that we are all leaders here, and I think we can really embody that. We can really take that on. I agree. This is a time for PDA to step forward. I was a Washington State delegate for Kucinich for president in 2004, and I'm a charter member of PDA. And we need PDA to know how important this committee is because peace is one of the absolute most essential components of PDA. Thank you.
Okay. Dan, why don't you close it out for us?
Hey, Mike. I just want to thank everybody for being on the call. This is fantastic. I agree with everything that people have said, what Dennis said for sure, and the whole history of PDA being founded in 2004 on peace. And I want to just let Jim know for sure. I mean, he probably has heard it. We have Dennis Kucinich has been on our town hall before, at least I think twice now over the years, and we certainly need to bring him back. I would like to bring Marcy into the town hall and some of the work that she's doing. This IoT in Wars and Occupations IoT is the largest IoT in PDA. You guys need to continue to grow, need to get larger. The most important thing, in my opinion, that this IoT can do right now is to promote Block the Bombs Act right now. 3565 should be everything we do from now. Just for an example, the PDA Arizona has written a resolution to go to our state convention next month, which calls for an end to funding for Israel and for weapons of war, and to bring in humanitarian aid and in the whole concept of starvation as a weapon of war. So that resolution is pretty strong, and we need to do things like that. We are also dogging. I'm sorry, I'm taking up a lot of time here, but we are dogging our representatives that have not signed on to block the bombs. Greg Stanton, for example, we're going to his town halls and challenging him on it. So everywhere you are, let's challenge our Democratic so-called progressives or moderates, whatever they want to call themselves, and get them to sign on to Block the Bombs Act. Okay, that's my little thing for the day. And I really loved all the work you're doing. Thank you, Jim, and thank the rest of the team. Okay.
I just want to point out real quick, Dan. We brought this to the Wisconsin convention to support Block the Bombs, and it passed 236 to 30 to do that. Our congressperson still didn't sign on to it. We brought that to her attention at our town hall meeting and said, we're going to primary you if you don't sign on to this.
There you go. We need to do that. PDA is not afraid to primary candidates. I mean, Marcy Winograd is she went after Jane Harmon, right, Marcy?
That's right. And we're going after Carbajal, my Congress member. He appeared at a town hall, and we were there to disrupt it and confront him and demand that he support Block the Bombs Act. And I videotaped it and used the clip. It's on TikTok with 30,000 views on Instagram and 7,000 likes and all these.
I would like to see that. We like to promote that.
I don't know if you're all on TikTok, but.
Well, can you send it on another way so people won't have to?
I can send it on from Facebook.
I'm on TikTok, but I don't know where to find it. How do I find it?
Okay, I'm gonna post the links in the chat to TikTok and Facebook.
Okay. All right, Donald, you had your hand up. Go right ahead.
Yeah. I just didn't want to feel like we have to rush the end of this because we have a lot of good people here. I thought we should have a good debrief and what the next actions are going to be to discuss what the next actions will be. So, are there plans to have Dennis appear in the Sunday town hall? I get the sense that there's some people, some groups or some people in PDA that don't really like Dennis, think Dennis is too far left or something. That's my impression. Or too.
Well, let them discuss it at a town hall. That would be the perfect venue.
Yeah. So I'm surprised that Alan Minsky didn't show up here because sometimes he does show up at these Saturday meetings. I'm surprised he didn't show up.
Well, but that's beside the point. I mean, I'm sure he's busy, or he would have been here. But anyway, I'm here, and Don, I don't. I mean, Dennis has been on our town halls, and I don't think it's because he hasn't been invited recently because of there's a major disagreement with him. I think there might have been some discussion around when he was supporting Kennedy, but that's another thing. We'll talk about that later.
I mean, I've been going to his town halls for several years, and I don't remember seeing Dennis or
Well,
so it's been years since Dennis has been on anyway.
Dan's going to try to rectify that. Marcy, go right ahead, Marcy, and then Beth.
Oh no, I'm posting the TikTok link, and I'll get the Facebook link to this disruption as well. And I would encourage us all to do something similar. Let's get these people on the record. Let's make their lives really miserable while they're funding this genocide. And also, as an aside, I'm also involved in California in a couple of efforts. There's a huge attempt by the Israel lobby in California. It's called the Jewish Public Affairs Committee. It's like a clone of AIPAC, to pass bills that will silence criticism of Israel. This is very serious. They are resolute about this, but there's tremendous pushback. In California, for example, they have a bill, AB 715, that would institute an anti-Semitism coordinator to police the classroom, elevate complaints against teachers and students to the State Department of Education, defund school districts, and adopt the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance definition, examples of anti-Semitism that conflates anti-Zionism with anti-Semitism, and institute anti-Semitism prevention in pre-K, which is 18 months to 4 years old. So they're really off their rocker, but we have lots of state lawmakers who are petrified of this Israel lobby. So please stay on top of what's happening in your own state vis-a-vis education. And if you can, support your teachers' unions in organizing or advancing their caucuses for Palestine. Thank you.
I imagine ACLU is going to take a position on that, because I haven't seen it, but I guarantee that they're not going to sit that. They're not sitting that out.
They did.
Very good. Very good.
They took a comprehensive position.
Okay. Beth, then that'll probably close the, I think we're a quarter after the hour, so we'll let Beth be our final curtain. Go ahead, honey.
I just would like to say I'd like to have us have a discussion on how we start getting these hundreds and thousands of people in primaries. I think we need to, we agree on it. Let's now talk about how we get it done. Action. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.
Well, that's a good way to close it out. We're all going to do what we can. And, I don't think there's anyone on this whole call that really isn't any disagreement on this. And I do hope, but Dennis gets on the national call, because we had about 30 people today, which was good for us. But I think everybody is going to go away, more committed, and anything from fasting to whatever it takes. Like, we've got that Golden Rule boat coming into the Bay Area today. It's in the whole month, but we'll be hosting something with those folks, and they've been good on the Palestine issue and again, nuclear issue, war and peace issue. I'm a veteran for peace, Chapter 69, and if you go to their website, Vets for Peace, you'll see that they're pretty damn good on most of all of these issues that I can see. So I want to thank everyone, and especially Sharon, for solving the issue when she cut us off. We're back. So I think it's all been recorded, so perhaps Sharon can send it out to anybody who's on the NWARS working group email list, and because I'm sure there's some folks that may have missed it or would like to review it perhaps, and maybe you can save the chat if you like. And I want to thank everyone, and we'll tune in next month, and it'll be a different world, as it has been every month from whenever we've been starting this. And thank Jim and Sharon and everybody. So I'm going to take
I don't know if we can show the disruption.
Oh, yeah. Oh, you're naughty. You're so naughty. I have a problem with disrupting. I'd rather be out there with a sign in front. I feel, to me, it's not like ACLU is disrupting. I'd rather they, anyway.
I take full responsibility for the disruption. I apologize profusely.
I'm talking about the disruption at Carball, not this disruption.
Oh, okay.
No soup for you.
No, if you want to show the disruption, I mean, there's a time.
I'd like to see it.
Yeah,
Okay. I gotta leave because I gotta run someplace. So thank you.
Do you want to share screen? And Sharon, if you share screen, I think I can do it. Yeah? Share.
Wow, that was quick.
Oh,
So
thank you for the connection.
this will take me a minute. Talk amongst yourselves here.
Yeah, it's just as Marcy is going to show this.
Okay, here we go.
Oh,
I think I got it. Okay, hold on. Okay, here we go. Wait, I'm going to start. Okay, here we go.
Oh, I think you need to share your audio. I think when you share your screen, you have to click the checkbox that says share my audio.
You can't hear that? You couldn't hear that?
No, when you share your screen in Zoom, you have to click the checkbox share audio too.
Okay, I'm going to stop share. I click on share and there's an audio box.
There's a little button I think when you click where it says, should you share your audio? Or maybe I'm thinking of WebEx.
Screen sharing. Yeah, no, I don't know. I'm so sorry. Share.
Where can we see it? How about a link, Marcy?
I put the link in the chats. Yeah. Copy the chat. And you can watch it. Sorry. Cause, you got to hear the audio. Okay.
You can click the link in the chat and it'll bring up that window with that information.
Yeah, in Seattle, socialist Shama Sawant, who was on the Seattle City Council, she's challenging Representative Adam Smith, who's my rep, and he's a war hawk. But they are disrupting all of Adam Smith's events, accusing him of, supporting war crimes. And like Adam Smith goes to high school to recruit people for the military, and they disrupt that event. They shut a lot of his town halls down. These are people. It's called Seattle Against War. They're sort of I would say they're more radical than I'm afraid, and they're like socialist types.
Is anyone
Seattle? But she's very smart. It'll be an interesting battle, but I mean, Adam has a lot of money and a lot of support, so it'll be hard to beat him. His biggest funder is AIPAC.
Is anyone trying to primary him, Don?
Yeah, he just come on. What's her name? The socialist did.
Yeah, so I mean, in Washington State, we have the top two primary. Anybody can run, and so it's not really a party. It's not by party.
That jungle
Washington
primary,
State,
the top two.
California.
Yeah, it's his top two, which means you don't run like for the Democratic primary. You just run for primary, and so two Republicans could if two Republicans get the most votes, they'll be on the ballot in November. Same if two Democrats get, or if a socialist gets it. So you don't have to like primary within the Democratic Party. So in Washington State, the parties aren't getting special treatment, which I think is actually better.
Also,
anyone gets a chance.
These freshman women Congress members who went to Israel recently with AIPAC, they're really prime for primary. Disgusting.
Who's that?
There were like 25 of them or something. They were
Haley Stevens from Michigan, probably.
I'll see if I can find the link. That was on social media.
She's the one who kicked out, what the heck is his name? Levin.
Oh.
Michigan. And Levin was pretty good.
So one way to disrupt without actually disrupting people when they talk is when people are talking and then people stand up to give them a hand after they're done making a statement. You can stand up and instead of giving them a hand, you can react to what they said by yelling and screaming or holding a sign or whatever. So you're not stopping somebody from speaking and you listen to them, but then when other people are...
I just can't be on...
Also, I just posted in the chat the 14 House Democrats who went to Israel a few days ago.
Okay. Were you saying something, Sharon?
Maybe it was an accident. Maybe she accidentally was unmuted. That's my guess.
Okay. Yeah, I would also like to point out, nobody's said it in the meeting, that J Street, the leader of J Street, just came out with a statement saying that he understands this is genocide. To me, that's a pretty big deal, considering that they're a Zionist organization, but they're a more progressive Zionist organization, if that's possible. But it's a big deal, and some human rights organizations within Israel have also come out and said this is a genocide. And I want to thank Marcy for bringing up this armed peacekeepers. Other people, Albanese has talked about this. The special rapporteur on food justice for the UN has talked about this. It's time not to just cut off Israel, but to actually be on the right side of this genocide. We're right now on the wrong side of the genocide, and do what we can, take action against Israel. I don't know.
Of course, the former Prime Minister of Israel, Olmert, he said it's war crimes, and Abraham Berg, the head of the Knesset, appeared on what's that Schiller Institute event, and he was saying, yeah, it's he said it's a war crime. Well, he said more than that, but he did say it's a war crime. So even main Israelis political leaders are saying it. It's as I said, it's a chance to bring down a lot of bad Democrats and Republicans because it's so blatantly obvious now. I regard it as a horrible opportunity.
And as to Marjorie Taylor Greene, I believe she called it a genocide too, right?
Yes, she did.
Did she use? Okay.
Well, good for her.
Has South Park done anything on it yet? I wonder if South Park has tackled it.
We should get Seth Meyers to do more. He's pretty good. Have you watched him? He has a comedy hour, and he's very left. I'll follow him.
Are there any musical bands that are popular that are coming out?
Low key.
Is that the name of a band, Low Key?
Yeah, he's very radical. Yeah, he's good. He's been on Code Pink radio.
Macklemore.
Macklemore's made really good statements too.
His songs are fantastic. Yeah.
How do you spell that, Dan?
Yeah. God, you're challenging me. I was a history teacher, not an English teacher. Let me look him up real quick.
Who did we just mention? I was going to follow somebody now.
I just put it in the, I believe that's the right spelling of Macklemore. Is that what you're asking for, Jim?
Yeah.
Did you put it in there? Okay, good.
Yeah.
All right, I have to get off, but good to be with you all and stay strong.
Please come back on a regular basis, Marcy.
I often have to take care of my grandkids when these are held, but today I was free, so when I'm free, I'll be here.
So thank you so much. Is Code Pink Congress going to start up again?
Probably not, because we're focusing on some other things. Right now, I'm focused on organizing in California. I'm very active now in the teachers union, both in Los Angeles and statewide, in organizing support for Palestine. So that's my focus.
Excellent. Certainly good to see you again, as everybody else. Thanks, everybody, for being on the call. Really appreciate. This is inspirational to me to keep going. And so hopefully we'll get this on the town hall, the Sunday town hall, and hopefully in our own local politics, we'll be running people in the primaries. And it was pointed out, even if the person isn't going to win, it's important to do it to get the message out there.
Yeah, I just one other thought about that. I mean, I'm trying to encourage this guy here.
Right. Hey, Jim, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I
can hear you, Dan.
Jim, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure that you and Mike keep in touch for next month's call ahead of time with the agenda and everything. And I did send out a email for this one, a large email to PDA, so hopefully it helped more people get into the Zoom. So,
thank you for doing that. I received that email. Thank you.
You did? Did you like it?
Yeah, I liked it.
Okay, good.
Take care.
All right, take care, everybody. Thank you. Love you all. Peace.
Okay, peace.